There we go. Brilliant. I think we are on air now. So session today, there are two aspects to it. One is rework, the concept we talked about last time, and a better world. So this is just a combination of that. But more importantly, we are moving away from monologue to dialogue. If you recall, on the very first session, I'd said there'll probably be about 2 to 3 sessions where we'll follow a broadcast format because there's so much to share. There is still a lot to share, to be honest, but I think we are at a point where we can have meaningful conversations. So this is where we are going today. We are going to try something out. Let's see whether it works. It doesn't work. Thoughts matter, and I want to reiterate this, as in some of the feedback came in at the very last minute today, so I've not been able to really compile the feedback and provide enough thought to it to or process it to say this is what we'll do with it. But the link for today's feedback is in the team's chat. There are 3 links I've posted. One is to this presentation. The second is to the board, the mural board that we're going to use. And the third one is to the feedback form. It is pretty light. 3 simple things. Am I creating clarity? Are you feeling well engaged? Is there good energy in the call? If you have any suggestions, type as you go. And by the way, you can save the draft and resume later if you want to recompile your thoughts later. So I would strongly encourage getting that feedback in, ideally during this call, so I can process it during the weeks. So in the next 45 minutes, what are we covering? Now, feedback, of course, I've not been able to process it. Most of it came this afternoon, so we'll skip that, but it is a standing agenda item. We'll cover the launch of Better World. It's something we mentioned during last call. If you've not caught up, essentially it is looking at NFT platform, and we will zoom in into that anyways, but using blockchain and crypto as a means to create positive impact. The second item is, or third is rework, going back to first principles. We've done a lot of conversation on this particular topic over the last 4 years, but instead of going through what we've built, and if time permits, we'll do that. Let's focus on the first principles as to how do we redesign work for our work lives essentially, and what are the opportunities there for us to collaborate. The last item is the Mastermind pilot, which is more of an announcement, but if time permits, I'll use a slide deck to explain what the concept is if you don't know what that is already. So as always, participate as much or as little, use the chat. Jake's going to keep an eye on it, hopefully again, and yeah, provide your feedback through the feedback form. So can't go to thank you yet. Let me go to launching a better world. So you'll recall I'd mentioned Million Dreams, and Million Dreams, we built the forms, we built the flows, the payment gateway integration and all. And to be honest, I'm a bit concerned about the trust factor, which we again discussed a couple of sessions back. At this stage, people may not trust us enough to just part with their money. So this one is looking at a slightly different perspective. We're using, so over the last couple of weeks, I've learned all kinds of things, right? From Solidity to Ethereum to even understanding how SVG, generative art can be created. So the concept here is very simple, and there is a roadmap, by the way. What I'm about to demonstrate is just the minimum MVP, if there is a minimum MVP. We are building, so the platform is called Better World. The longer term goal is to use crypto assets and use, in fact, there is probably a screen here which can show you the longer term view. Bear with me. So the longer term view for Better World is we are starting at the moment with generative digital assets for to create some crowdfunding opportunities and generate the seed funding that we require. One of our goals is to improve blockchain adoption. It is a very promising technology, still very difficult for lots of people to adopt. So you'll see how we are trying to reduce that curve. Longer term, we are looking at ideas, and this is of course going to evolve, but this could very well become a donation platform, very similar to Just Giving. We can get into some interesting concepts through crowd engagement, like pressed pennies. You can make your own digital art, and eventually get to a point where crypto assets can be exchanged. Now that is long term. Let's focus on the short term, which is the generative digital art. I'll go back to the other thing. So what does that generative digital art look like? So we have created, and this is very tightly linked to the SDGs. As you can see, if you can see here, there are 17 special assets like that. So each of these is unique in its own right from the frame, the colors to to the numbers, the internal frames, all of them. But these are entirely programmatically created, of course, with some seed designs there. These are NFTs, so non-fungible tokens, which can be purchased. Now, the ones that I'm showing are premium tokens. They have been deliberately priced at a very big price. It's $1 million. They are not for sale right now, as in they are for sale if someone wants to buy them. But the focus is to really provide attention or refocus everyone's minds to all those different goals that the sustainable goals that we keep talking about. But there are the more affordable ones, which one can buy on OpenSea as well. Now, if anyone's not familiar with NFTs, these are unique crypto assets, essentially. They can be bought, they can be sold. So if I go here, you can make an offer to the buyer, to the person who owns it, which is at the moment small outside, but you can mint your own as well, and I'll show you that in a moment. But essentially, these are assets. These are digital assets that you can trade, you can own, you can use them for support, which is what we are doing here. So how does that work? You can either buy it on OpenSea, anything that is pre-minted, but better still, you can actually mint your own. Now, when you mint your own, you'll create your own digital asset to the parameters that you want to support. So if you wanted to, and given we're going to talk about future of work and the rework platform today, let's go to the decent work and economic growth for all. So that's the cause that we want to support. Hit the next button. It takes you to a screen where you can choose how much you want to support. Now, if you are not familiar with Matex, it's just another currency in the crypto world, very similar to Bitcoin, which is very, very expensive. Ether, quite expensive. Matex are again, based on Ethereum, but are more affordable, even in terms of the transaction fee costs and otherwise. It is quickly gaining popularity, but we think it is the right solution for us. So at this stage, you would say, and you can look up what the price is for a Matic, and at the moment, it's about £1.45 per Matic. Now, of course, you need to own the Matics to buy this, and the process then assumes someone who's never been through crypto. As in, part of our journey is to actually educate people around crypto, enable that journey, enable them to make the leap. So I'll go with 1 copper simply because of the funds that I've got in the wallet right now. At this stage, it will go through and it will say, oh, hold on, you haven't got your computer set up. So you can go through the process of installing Metamask and just follow the process. I won't go through this. I'm going to take a shortcut at this stage and use this on, on my wallet, which is already set up. So if I go here and if I paste this link, because this computer is already set up, it will say, look, it's all set up. And here's the more interesting part. This is something which I believe is unique to what we are doing. I don't think anyone else does it. So in the process of minting the art, we are also generating BTR coins. So they chose to call them BTR Coins, but these are separate crypto assets that are also added to the wallet, and I'll show you in a moment. So at this stage, you mint, the MetaMask will pop up, and we said we wanted to buy it for 1 Matic, so it's showing me that, and I can say yes, I want to confirm it. And hopefully, if we've got it all working correctly, at this stage, it will go away, do the minting behind the scenes, and create both the asset and joys of live demos. So let me see what's happened here. Okay, I'll have to look at this, why it's not working. Oh no, it did work. Sorry, there you go. It's automatically gone there. So what I just minted, it's taken me to OpenSea where this asset has been produced. At the moment, I think that's the one we just generated. Sorry. Go. So that's the activity. Yeah, that's the one I just generated a minute ago. Now, if you look at this design, it will look very different to any other design. And we chose a copper, decent work and economic growth, but this asset is unique, and it's got its own unique ID and so on and so forth. But our goal here is to really use these assets as a means to generate funds. Anyone can support our causes. The money that gets generated will be used directly and solely for getting impact ideas off the ground. That's where the Better World startup is focused. I hope this gives you a feel for what Better World is. The BTRCs that I mentioned, if I show you the wallet here, what we've just minted is the 4th BTR is there, but I've also earned, through the process, I've earned BTRC coins. So there is currently a award of 256 BTRCs per mint, but it keeps halving every so often, and it will reduce down to 1 BTRC. So at the moment, it's free money. Longer term, if you do the math, it starts inflating to about 1 by 256, or 256 times over until we mint the last one. So that's, I know I may have thrown a lot of crypto concepts at you at this stage, but I hope it gives you an idea of what I meant by, I'll go back to, oops, wrong one. I'll go back to this page where it can be minted from. There's this kind of, I tried to keep it simple, but it is a complex concept. Are there any questions for me at this stage before we go into the more interactive part of today's session?
Is Johnny helping you? Helping you lay out this pathway?
Not yet, but one of the things we have discussed with Johnny is, in fact, I sent him the links today, and we are going to catch up hopefully next week. Because I think he is well placed to actually publicize these NFTs, and hopefully that will generate enough interest.
Yeah, I think it will. By the way, we're talking about a person from CryptoClear, which is a partner I work with in the UK, and they're very much on top of this space. I think this is great. I think it's a great way to generate some funding and people getting something back out of it who are buying in the NFT space. For those of us who are buying all the time in the NFT space, it's convoluted and difficult, and the fact that you smoothed it out, I think, is a really good idea.
Yeah, I think that to us was the biggest journey, as in, apart from all the challenges around generative art and creating unique assets all the time,
Mhm.
and we've got very close to it, almost there. But it's the path of actually buying those Matics and then going through MetaMask, and that is the painful journey for adoption. So
Back to the NFTs you've created, they're available for sale.
yes, they are. So if you go to
If I
OpenSea,
want to buy one, if I want to buy one tomorrow, I can do it. Is that
yeah,
fine?
yeah, absolutely. So what we've done is we've pre-minted some. Now, if we pre-mint, it's there. If someone doesn't want to go through the whole process, you can simply go on to this particular site on OpenSea, and then you can say make an offer. And we need to go through. Of course, you'll still have to go through MetaMask, but then you're going through a more mature process that is already there on OpenSea. OpenSea is quite a mature marketplace, so you can buy all kinds of art and even buy crypto punks and crypto cats, I think. But
What does mint means?
mint is
Mate,
like the process of minting a coin, essentially. But what we are doing is under.
Is it the process of creating the NFT or not at all?
There is a lot more to it, actually. So if you look at this particular thing, this is a quick lesson in NFTs, if you like. There is a contract. There is a Ethereum contract under the hood, which is actually doing the job. So you can go to this contract, and we are on Polygon. That's the network we've chosen. If you see, there is currently $49 worth of Matic sitting there. But that contract, in turn, is like functions, and you can read over there, and you can say, I think we minted 33, I believe. So you can go to the unique ID 33, and then, but this is all function. I'm just showing you one example. But you can go there, or if you want to see total supply, it's already showing you there are 33 in the pipe. And behind the scenes, this is really the kind of data exchange that is happening over there. It's saying this is universally unique, and all of that is then ending up showing here. So it is a bit of a interesting integration that happens between smart contract, the data that we publish, and once, if you look at this, the images that are being generated, the ones that I was talking about, generative art, that is this one. So that URL, behind the scenes, there is a lot of interesting image processing happening to create this art. But yeah, you can keep changing the ID, and you will see a new art being formed every time.
yeah, article posted
Yes,
there
yeah.
for you.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. Yeah, I would have a look.
And if any of you are looking for just like really quick how-to, I need to understand about mining, or I need to understand about anything in cryptocurrency, go to Investopedia, and it's like Wikipedia, but for this space. And you can, yeah, go ahead and just type in anything you want to see there on Investopedia, and you can look up on their search function there. That's
Polygon, maybe.
yeah. Yeah, so you just go down, you look at anything, and you can come up and it'll give you a little walkthrough. Take a search on, go to the search icon on the upper right-hand side there, and search. Yeah, it's a little. You got to slide your mouse down while you have it open. Okay, put in blockchain, for example, and then slide down. It'll open up when it opens up, and then go down a little bit. It should be the first item on their list there. What is blockchain? History of blockchain, something like that. Yeah, what you need to know. Go ahead, and there you go. And there's a complete tutorial here. It's updated weekly. And you got the blockchain basics on the left-hand side, the blockchain history, the blockchain in the industry. Really, it's a good little primer for anybody who needs to understand this. And if you typed in tokenization, or you put in NFTs, it explained all of them.
Right. Okay. That's a good.
That's great.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. Non-fungible token. Understanding that walks you through what they are, how they work.
Yeah, maybe Chuck, one of the things I was telling Jake earlier as well, one of the things we want to start doing on this forum is also exchange knowledge. Maybe you could do a 10, 15-minute primer at some point for everyone's benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. We're actually now, the company that I work for is being asked to just do that, just to sell primers, small individual primers that would help people just navigate through. I guess one of the things you haven't told everybody is that they should go out and get a Metamask wallet.
Yes.
Did you tell everybody that?
I did, but what I was really saying earlier in the demo was the process here. If we go and do this, maybe no poverty, I'll just do this. So the process handholds you, and I think I don't have MetaMask here, so it takes you through the process and says install MetaMask.
Okay, all right.
And then you can go through here. As in, what I didn't want to do is take up a lot of time. Maybe what I'll do is create a short video which covers the whole path, including how to get Matix on MoonPay, and I'll publish that as a separate knowledge sharing video at some point soon.
I'm buying Matic on crypto.com is where I buy it.
Yeah. As in MoonPay, crypto. I think crypto.com is more competitive on the price.
Yeah, you can buy that.
We are using Binance. Sorry, I've got Manan sitting right in front of me and he's saying we use Binance, but there you go. So, right. Are there any other questions relating to what I've presented so far? Because I do want to go into rework, the interactive part of the session as well.
Yeah, one question.
Only I'd like to add an idea, an idea time, but I got to thinking, this project made me think about what the possibility or the impact would be globally if we started to lobby something like LinkedIn to say, put your top 3 UN sustainability goal ideas or what you identify with, and you put them on your portfolio and you put them on your index on LinkedIn so that it was on your profile.
Yeah.
And how that would start to coordinate people around the world who had similar values and ideas, because there's no UN alignment type thing that I know of as a tool. But if we lobbied to see if it could be added to like a LinkedIn platform, that would be a real world changer, I think.
Yeah, I think it gives you that deeper insight into the person's value system and interests as well. Yeah, I agree. Was that Balaji was trying to come in? I can't see.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Can you not see me?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, please.
So the coins that we have the one you just presented, we could mint, or we are proposing, we'll use them for fundraising. How do we create traction for somebody? You need to have the first 100 buyers to get the ball rolling, right?
Yeah.
To create momentum.
Yeah.
So how do we do that? What's our plan of action, or is it something that we have to collectively come up with?
So I think it is going to be a fission style reaction, I think. So what I've shown you today is by no means complete. It probably is a bit buggy as well. So initially we want to test it internally within this audience. If you want to support this idea, then by all means go in and mint, learn in the process as well, how all this works. The page that will follow after this, which I haven't quite completed yet, is more around a reference. I think it takes on from Baz's suggestion, I think a couple of sessions back, about if each of us goes and finds X number of people and they in turn find, and of course it starts getting weaker. weaker down the chain, but we can get enough traction off the ground. We'll have to fall back to social media. We are also talking about referral campaigns, so we build the functionality to actually enable individuals to refer, and therefore they in turn are incentivized to earn something in return as well. So there is a bit of an ecosystem that's starting to build up. Chap Johnny that Chuck was referring to earlier, he's a big crypto influencer, so we are going to catch up with him to see if we can at least get the way this space works. From my learnings is people talk to people, and eventually it gathers momentum. We do need the critical mass, to be honest, at this stage.
You can schedule a drop type of environment where we build a big campaign and allow people in at a certain time. We could also embed activities or something associated with the NFT. For example, later when they're unwrapped and unraveled by individuals who take a look at them, they would include an hour of dash time, for example, to talk to them about something, or you could start to build value into them as well. And we can trade that value. They're starting to do this with offering tickets to soccer matches, to everything. They're starting to be embedded in this. I just met with a hotel group the other day that are embedding all of your loyalty points will be embedded into these. So there's all kinds of possibility how we could embed value within the tokens themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe what I'll do is, I'm just very conscious of the time here. So what I'll do is maybe set up a separate session, or bring this back on the agenda to share the longer term plans of how we want to see the BTRCs being used as well. Are there any other fundamental questions for today which I can address before we move to the next item? So I'll move to the next item. And by the way, that was a great journey. If anyone's not quite familiar, I would strongly recommend Understand Solidity. Even for the techies on the call, it is great fun. I promise you. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm more than happy to help you if you want to learn more about it. So let's go to rework the first principles. And I did start by giving credit to Mark Baginski earlier for the summation. And Mark, why don't you explain the concept behind the rework, the summation logic? Is Mark still there? I don't know if I can't see who's there and who's not. Right. Anyways, I'll explain in case he's having technical difficulties. So we mentioned last week or last time we met that the rework, the concept itself, where we are challenging the current ways of working and exploring ideas where we can build a platform that enables new ways of working. We came up with a name called rework at that stage. It turns out it is already in use. And Mark came up with an interesting idea that ultimately we are talking about a summation of, it's a collective idea, it's a collaborative model. So why not use the sigma for the E and make it there? So it is a placeholder still. If anyone's got any other ideas on what we want to call this platform, please send them my way. I'm sure there was some SOS reward attached to it, and we'll deal with it when we get there. But let's focus on the interactive part of the session. So you will see that there is actually a link in the chat. You will see this kind of a screen, accept the name, the visiting host, if you like, or whatever else you're presented with. Once you come in, or feel free to give your own name if you want. And once you come in, you will be able to interact with this board. I'll switch to the team version so I can play around a bit and change settings if needed, if it is still in read-only mode. But you should be, is everyone able to jump in and see? I can only see two people there right now.
I don't see the link.
Sorry?
Where is the link, Dash?
It's already in the chat, so it should be in Oops.
I don't see a link in the chat.
Ooh, where did they go? Anyways, let me paste it here. That's
There's one now from the Muriel board. Manon's just popped one in.
yeah, same one. I pasted that as well. So
Okay.
did we lose Mark then? Oh, look, I'm seeing lots of people have come in now. So are you able to edit? Are you able to do things like adding, I can see a cursor move. So Nick is there, Tati is there, yeah. Are you able to add anything?
It's saying view only.
View only, okay, let's change that. Share, visitor link. Anyone with the link is can edit. Done. Hopefully that should make it editable.
Dash, I am clicking on this link, but it's not letting me come in or changing the number at all.
Oh, right, that is, I wonder if...
Clicking on that link in the chat.
Yeah, I see Agnes is moving around. I see someone's plotted a sticky there. I wonder if you've got...
That's me.
Right, so you are able to add...
Yep, I've tried adding a sticky.
Right, okay. Shall we get started, Jake, and maybe...
Yeah, carry on without me. That's fine. I'll watch.
You follow my screen. Maybe
Yeah.
that's because my screen will remain in share mode. I'm not contributing today. So let's look at rework first. The goal here initially was to build a platform that allows us to challenge current ways of working and discover new ways. Is there a better way to do these things? Now, we did start building a platform. If you remember, we have version 6 of a platform already there. We've stopped developing it further. We can do a demo at some point if time permits. But I thought today would be a better day to actually go back to first principles. What is it that is broken in the, I'm going to say the industrial age ways of working? So what's broken? And let's identify that and then see what ideas are there to convert this into a self-sustaining model that we can all participate in and also benefit from, right? So we've used Strategizer quite profusely for our thinking in the past. If anyone's not familiar with Strategizer, it was started by a chap called Alexander Osterwald. Brilliant work. You may have seen the business model canvas. It looks something like this. It's at the bottom. I've just stuck that. We're not going to work on that today, but it simplifies the whole thought visualization process when you're starting to think new ideas. And it asks very simple questions like, what value are you going to create? Who are you going to target? How is value going to be created? How is it going to be realized in financial terms? Is there a business idea within that? So a very interesting thought process there, but we are going to zoom in on the value proposition canvas. If I draw your attention to my screen, I've got a recording here queued up, which will help explain the concept first, and then we'll do some plotting of stickies on it. Shall I hit the record button? Is everyone looking at the screen? And
yeah.
And what customers want. The customer segment profile describes the characteristics of your customers in more detail. The profile is composed of the jobs your customers are trying to get done in their work and in their lives, the related pains outlining the negative aspects they hate or would like to avoid, and third, the gains describing the positive outcomes and benefits which your customers would love to have. Now let's look at the profile in more detail. Jobs describe an important issue your customers are trying to solve in their work or in their lives. It could be the tasks they're trying to perform and complete, the problems they're trying to solve, or the needs they are trying to satisfy. And then jobs can have a functional, social, or emotional intent. Now, some jobs will be crucial to the customers, others will be trivial. Then the second aspect here are the pains describing anything that annoys your customers before, during, and after getting a job done. This could be undesired costs and situations, negative emotions, or risks. And again, some customer pains will be severe, others light. And the third aspect of the profile are the gains describing the outcomes and benefits your customers require, expect, desire, or would be surprised by. This includes things like functional utility, social gains, positive emotions, and cost savings. And again, some outcomes and benefits will be more relevant to customers than others. These three elements of the profile describe the customer characteristics that you can observe in the market. Now let's look at the value proposition map, describing the features of your value proposition, which you are designing to address your customers' most important jobs, pains, and gains. The map is composed of the products and services your value proposition is built around, the pain relievers outlining how your products and services alleviate customer pains, and third, the gain creators describing the positive outcomes and benefits your products and services create for your customers. Now let's look at the map in more detail. First, the products and services simply outline the bundle of products and services that you're offering customers to help them get a functional, social, or emotional job done and to address their pains and gains. Now, the second aspect here, the pain relievers make explicit how your products and services will alleviate specific customer pains before, while, and after the customer is trying to get a job done. They show which of all the customer pains your value proposition is addressing by eliminating or reducing them. And the next aspect here are the gain creators. They make explicit how your products and services create customer gains. They show which of all the customer gains your value proposition is addressing by creating benefits and outcomes. Now you have achieved a so-called problem solution fit when the features of your value proposition map perfectly match the characteristics of your customer segment profile. When the market validates this match and your value proposition gets traction with real customers, you have achieved a so-called product market fit. But don't forget, successful businesses have more than just a great value proposition. They have a great business model that makes a customer value proposition possible. Now,
Right, so I'll go back to that screen there. So what we are doing today is, I hope that helped. I know it's very brief overview there, but essentially, when I was thinking of today's session, I was thinking, how are we going to run this? We all have been in our job lives for most of our lives now, but some of us more than when we were not in job lives. But whether we are independent workers, whether we are permanent employees, or whether we've experienced both, or whether we are our own startup businesses or small businesses, or even as customers from an enterprise perspective, if we are dealing with, because most of us are also representing enterprise and we experience certain pains in engaging people, for example. So look at work from a more holistic picture. The idea for today is really to make it a little more interactive. We're only breaking ice today. It's not going to be a perfect session. We've not got enough time. But the idea here is, let's think of the pains or the jobs to be done and choose any board. As in, when I thought of it initially, I was thinking we'll pick up each customer segment, whether us as employees, maybe us as professionals trying to deliver our craft. Let's look at that and start plotting what are the typical jobs that we do, in not jobs as in what work we do, but in delivering our craft. What are the challenges we face? What are the things we need to get done? So things like turn up for a job interview, creating a CV, those are examples of customer jobs us as professionals having to do. And would it not be, if I look at the gain, for example, yeah, we face pains when we deal especially for independent workers when you're moving between work, we do experience pain. Could the gain be that our work is lined up for us before our current work finishes? Could that be a nice gain? Would there be another gain there in terms of it's aligned well to our deeper value system in terms of the goals or the impact we want to create on our world? Now, those could be gains which are not essential for earning our bread and butter and cheese, but those are nice things because that actually creates greater satisfaction in workplaces. So I hope this kind of gives an idea, but to break ice, if whoever's been able to get into the canvas, if you want to start jotting your thoughts, and feel free to jot anything you like, there are no right or wrong answers, but let's use us as professionals. What are the jobs we are trying to get done in the course of doing our work? What are the pains we face? And I'll let you jump onto it and plot your thoughts there. And what I'll do is I'll just walk around the board and read out so that it may trigger additional thoughts while you're working through it. So who's going to put the first sticky?
I'm going to have to be an observer, Dash.
Yeah, that's fine. I think Seb's taken the first one. Let's see.
Maybe I can be the first one to comment. Unfortunately, I will have to go in 4 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Basically, I will be not able to put all my thoughts inside, but for sure, what's not working is the recruitment process at work, and everybody hates it. But
Yeah.
that's for sure what doesn't work, and it's a big pain.
Yeah. So Agnes, what I'll do is I'll leave this board. Anyways, it's accessible offline, and it is a great collaboration tool. If you want to just come in later and just drop your thoughts, you are in this industry very much, so your thoughts will be very, very valuable, coming from a very different platform perspective, I guess. And Jake, if you want me to drop any notes on your behalf, let me know, and I can do that. I think we're going to cut very close to the wire today, or exceed, I think.
Dash, I've got a bail for a client. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, Jake.
One of this good exercise in just proving virtual work activity, though.
Yeah, it does work, doesn't it? I think, given we'll all have a hard stop, and I'll be staying back on this call if anyone wants to discuss anything we've covered today. But there is one announcement which I just want to make, and I'll do it as an announcement, and I'll share a link of where you can find more, which was the fourth item on the agenda. And let me just go back to my screen, where my screens are all over today, but there you go. So the fourth item, or fifth rather, was the Mastermind pilot. And I just want to announce this. It is something, so Nick Newrock and I, we had a very good chat last Friday, discussing his plans, and Nick's taken the plunge, which is great. And I'm there. Nick, I really want to support you because you are up to something really good, and maybe on the next call, you can tell everyone what you're planning to do. But he is basically looking to create impact in the education sector, solve lots of problems. I'll do disservice if I describe it. But Nick is not alone. Neither am I, neither is Chuck, neither is Balaji or Ajit in his plans to create sustainable townships. Neither is Sebastian in his consultancy business. So the whole point around these, when you're starting off as an entrepreneur, is, or even if you're running your own business, you often, if you are running a very small business, you're a one-person army trying to do many things, and there is value in collaborating with others. And Mastermind, if you're aware of what masterminds are, these are really very structured groups of people who get together, they commit to each other's success. They are there to hold each one to account. Essentially, there is a very specific format. We don't have time today to go through the detail today, but there is a specific format that's followed. The group that forms typically between 8 and 10 people, they commit to each other on certain principles. They agree how they will run these sessions. And in very simple terms, they're really supporting each other. Everyone carries a voice. And if, let's say, I was stuck and I say, look, this is how I'm stuck today, somebody who's completely unrelated to my business will come and say, actually, we solve this like this in our business. Maybe you can try it out. And it just opens a completely new perspective. So it's a very good way to interact with others. It's also a means of creating accountability towards each other, because once you announce, and if I was to stand in that group and say, in 1 week's time when we meet, I will have done this, my commitment to that particular task actually increases, and I'm likely to be more successful in my goal, in my personal goal. And that's what the mastermind groups really are. So Nick and I have agreed to get started with it. We haven't quite figured out the rules. We haven't quite figured out when are we meeting. It may be every other Wednesday, alternating to this particular Wednesday, maybe the same time, 5 to 6. But if anyone's interested, and it can be anything that you are trying to do. It doesn't have to be business. It can be maybe you're trying a new sport. Doesn't matter what. But if you are interested, let me know. We'll have to think of a format, whether it's a 60-minute or a 90-minute, but they are there. They are not networking sessions. They are entirely there to help each other, to give focus on what we do in our personal lives and in our business professional lives. So if anyone's interested, shout now, or you know where I am, just reach out to me, and I'll set some things up. I'm very conscious I've overrun today, so I'm going to quickly stop the screen share to conclude this call, and just check who's still there and how's it been today. Generally, has it helped? Has it not helped? Could we do things any differently? I
think it was a good session, Dash.
Yeah,
it was good to maybe not enough time at the end for the the collective work.
Yeah.
I think the Better World probably needs its own in-depth discussion. Well, I mean, it was all completely alien to me, all that stuff. So that was a lot of information there. It's all stuff on my list of things I want to learn about. But yeah, it probably needs more time.
Yeah. No, I agree. As in, it is one of the feedbacks was, are we doing multiple things at the moment? Can we slow down? And I have absolutely taken it on board, but it's now got reduced to generate funds, because all this requires funds, which is where Better World is. I'm very tempted to chase that million dreams idea, but I don't think, as in, I'll probably have bandwidth, but we'll just confuse matters and there won't be enough time to discuss. But certainly the RSWork platform does need a little focus time for us to collaborate on. Maybe the next session, The Mastermind Group was more an announcement. We can just do that separately. But maybe we just focus these sessions on rework going forward, and I can give you an update on how the Better World assets are kept.
I wonder whether we should, finish what we started with the stickers.
Yeah.
Just to finish it off and complete the task.
Yeah.
In a good spirit of eliminating a work in progress.
Yes.
Complete that that task and just wrap it up and summarize the ideas and what we all came with together.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean that we cannot have another go later, but at least we finished that, and so maybe that could be a piece of homework. I know that we don't have to. We only have to come once a fortnight. That's the only commitment, but that could be a piece of homework for everyone to complete the mural. So that before the next session, you can collect maybe everything and summarize it for the benefit of everyone.
Yeah, that would be good. What I'll do is maybe put a little structure to it, because I was hoping to put that structure, but we ran out of time. Because there are different perspectives through which you can see the same thing as a business owner, as an employee, as a permanent employee, as a contractor. So what I'll do is I'll see if I can structure it and then send it out tomorrow so everyone can jot their thoughts. And it's a brainstorm ultimately. You can do it all. And then maybe time box it to a week or so that I can then have a week to summarize it back and do something meaningful. Yeah.
For me, I think the other thing I wanted to say, I think the NFT piece is really interesting because it's opening the door to a new world that I don't know a thing. To quite honestly, it's a bit scary to see how little knowledge I've got in that space. But
this is funny though, Sam. So we do need to become very wise with this stuff.
Yeah, it's really good also to have Chuck who can, point us through readings and stuff. Yeah. But for me, certainly to improve, I need to spend a bit of time, try to educate myself on that. That's surely and I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Yeah, maybe what I'll do is,
I echo that as well.
Yeah, it is pretty common, isn't it? I think other than me, we keep having this conversation. Manan's been doing this for 6 years. So he thinks easily, and I keep saying that's not how the world thinks, my friend. So we always have that interesting conversation. But why don't as in Chuck has offered this in the past? Maybe on the next one, I schedule maybe 15 minutes for him to give a primer on what these things are, and then use 45 minutes to think through these things, the RSWork platform, and see where we could take that. Really.
Yeah. Be great.
Awesome. Any other parting thoughts before we close the call? No. Awesome. So I'll end the call here from a recording perspective, but I will hang around if anyone wants to stay back and have a chat. So stopping the recording now.
Yeah, I'm going.